Hey everybody, it's Matt Hsu from Upright Health, and today I'm I am answering a question that was asked by Amber Johansson through the contact form on our website at uprighthealth.com. Under the contact navigation button, you will find on that page there is a place to submit questions to possibly be answered on YouTube. So that's how she did it. That's how we prefer you submit questions. If you submit them in other YouTube comments and things like that, it's a little tougher for us to manage and track, and so we may not see it because we get a ton of comments. So if you do it through the website, we're much more likely to see it. So anyway, Amber's question is, I think I have glute amnesia with one glute that is bigger than the other. I can't seem to get my glutes sore after workout. The lower back seems to take the brunt of the work. Any words of wisdom to wake up my sleepy glutes so they can pull their weight? Thank you. So Amber, thanks for the question. One of the best pieces of advice I can give you if your glutes are asleep is to pay very, very, very close attention to what you're using when you are doing any exercise. So classic example is the bridge. I can do the bridge using my lower back. Right now I'm doing it in such a way as to stress my lower back muscles. This may look totally fine to you on the video. From an outside perspective, this may look like a perfectly good bridge. Only somebody who's really carefully looking is probably going to notice that I'm just arching my back a little bit too much, and that's putting a lot of strain, relatively a lot of strain on my lower back rather than my glutes. My glutes are still working, but my lower back does not like doing this. I've only done, 8 repetitions. I can feel my lower back getting tight. Ways to counteract this. Number one is to think about focusing the effort into the glutes. So I cannot tell you how many times we have had somebody come in to train with us and say, well, I've already done bridges a lot and it never seems to help my glutes. It's common because a lot of people tend to do this with the arch. If you can flatten the arch a little bit, you don't even have to go crazy with it. This does not have to be like a Pilates scooping and sucking and tucking or whatever it is. Just a little flatter lower back. And then really focusing on squeezing the butt cheeks as you come up. Just mentally focusing in and connecting with those butt muscles helps you use the right muscles. So a common misconception that people have is that if you do an exercise that is supposed to work your glutes, it's going to work your glutes. There are a lot of ways your body can compensate and use other muscles for an activity that seems like it should be foolproof. So make sure you're using the right muscles when you're doing the exercise. We have these sideline leg lifts that we like to do. I was just having a new gal work on these, so she needed to do a little bit of strengthening for her lateral hip. As soon as she started doing these, she didn't feel it where we wanted her to feel it, and this is super common. She started feeling quads, she started to feel TFL, and so we played around with foot position, but also focusing on squeezing as she was moving the leg up. So just a little cue of, hey, you should feel it back here, this is where it belongs, was pretty much all it took, right? A little bit of playing with the leg position, either this way or this way, but then really focusing on, hey, contract here, contract here, contract here. And I'll mention this too because it'll probably come up for you. She was hitting points where things would kind of feel like either just uncomfortable, and there are very different variations on this. It could be uncomfortable or pinchy in different spots. But should that happen, or should you feel like a little click or something, you want to try to squeeze the glute a little bit more consciously to try to stabilize that joint as you're coming up through that motion. You mentioned that it's one-sided, that one side seems to be weaker than the other. So once you've got the bridge going, you can also do a bridge with a single leg descent, which looks like this. So you're going up, using both glutes, coming down using just the one. So that's a good little progression to do on one side. You could also then just do it single leg like that. So Again, making sure you're not overarching and going like this. As you can see, my range of motion is totally changed. You might not be able to see it, but I can feel it. It's totally different. And I feel like my quads are getting a weird stretch, a cramping sensation. My lower back does not like it at all. And then I don't feel my glute working at all. So if I can just pull my lower back a little bit flatter and then go into it, that's when I start to feel my glute engage. So again, I'm also putting mental effort into talking to my butt. So my brain and my butt are talking again. I'm betting you're probably also doing something like deadlifts or Romanian deadlifts. And if you are doing those, again, the advice is the same, is to make sure that you are paying attention to which muscles you're using, because you can definitely use the wrong muscles. So you go down into a Romanian deadlift and you arch heavily and then try to pull up, you're very likely going to stress out your lower back well before your glutes feel anything. Also, just as a note, it's unlikely that you'll feel the burn of your glutes while you're doing something like a deadlift, so you just want to really focus on making that mental connection, make that neurological connection from your brain to your butt, so you're squeezing, and helping your hips move as a result of glute activation rather than as a result of your lower back working to kind of change the dynamics of the balance dynamics of your whole body. So Amber, biggest, most useful piece of advice is probably to use your brain to talk to your butt. And then second is to look at how much anterior pelvic tilt that you're using, how much lordosis you have in that lower back, flatten that out a little bit, and that should help you find the right muscles when you're doing all these different exercises. So hope that helps you, hope it gives you some perspective, and I hope you remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't.